Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats, and today we welcome in Gary Grabinski, a talented young sports photographer behind GGS Photos. At just 21 years old, Gary has already made a name for himself, capturing the energy and emotion of local athletics. We'll dive deep into his journey, the power of storytelling through photography, and what it takes to turn that passion into a career. Get ready for an inspiring conversation. All right, Gary, GGS Photos, give us the background, give us the journey.
So I actually didn't create GGS Photos.
Okay.
So like in high school, like my main two sports were cross country and basketball. So, and my girl I went to school with, her dad took photos for Notre Dame. So yeah, I went to school in Notre Dame, but her dad took photos for Notre Dame and all the sports and everything, and he was JB3 sports photos. He does like Delhi now and everything. So JB3 sports photos, and then when I was playing basketball in JV, like he went to the varsity games, but he wouldn't go to like the JV ones. So my dad took like like he just had a camera, like just being like a parent and going to take photos of random things. I was like, can you come by and like take some photos for like, we'd all like some. He was like, yeah, sure, why not? So like after a while, my friends are like, oh, like JB3 is doing varsity. You need a name. Like my dad, like just joking with him. And at Twin Ponds, he's the golf pro. So, and he owns his own shop, Gary's Golf Shop. So GGS.
Okay.
So he was GGS Photos. And so he was GGS Photos, and then my friend's dad was JB3 Sports Photos. And then my senior year was the COVID year that everything was like shut down, but Notre Dame was still open, and all my friends played basketball. Oh no, the year before junior year, I did CYO basketball with all my friends for fun. But senior year, they didn't have that, and all my friends were like, oh, like there's no photography, no anything. Can you go? And I'd like sort of taken an interest to it because my dad took photos, and like I started to like kind of get into it. I was like, this is kind of a cool thing. Like I want to learn more about it. So then I was like, sure, I'll go to your games. So like I went to the games, and then that's how I became GGS Photos, and I'm on the spot learning everything about photography. Like I had no right being at like these games, like they are awful. Like they like looking back, like they are like I know nothing. Like I think like if someone just moves their hand, the hand's blurry. Like it's not coming out good. But like they loved them, and I'm like, all right, this is like, and I'm having fun doing it. So then over the years, like my senior year, basketball finished out. It's the only sport I did. Had fun with it, and then I'd create graphics with them because I want to go to college for graphic design. So I'd make graphics with the photos, and I love doing that. So when I went to college at SUNY Poly, like I'm a freshman, and you know SUNY Poly has all these photographers, and it's like, all right, I don't know if I'm really getting into that. So I stopped like taking photos for a while because like it was like, all right, it's like a fun hobby, but whatever. Like I still did some for Notre Dame just because like the kids knew me and they'd come and ask me to take photos. So then it was probably I want to say sophomore year in college. I was like, all right, we should like put a heavy, because I really like hated my 9 to 5. Like I was working at a golf course like Twin Ponds on the grounds crew, and I really
It's like farm work.
yeah, like it's just draining. Like you're out there and like it's 100 degrees, and I live in Little Falls, so that's like a 45-minute drive each day. So I'd wake up, be there at 6. I'd wake up at like 4:30, drive. I get home, want to do nothing because I'm just drained, and then I just sleep all afternoon, all evening, all night. Wake up,
repeat.
yeah,
And do it, yeah.
So I'm like, I don't really want to do this, and like graphic design, like it was fun, but like I didn't know if I really wanted to do it. So that's when I was like, all right, let's put a focus on photos. So then I started making all these graphics with the photos, like more advanced graphics. And then once I figured out how to take photos, like there's the raw photos and JPEG photos. Like you shoot in JPEG, they're not that much detail. They come out okay, but the detail's not really in there. You shoot raw, you have like everything, like you have the most little details you can edit a lot better. So I started shooting raw, started learning more about photography. So then once about the fall season, I did mainly football for Notre Dame, and those really took off, and the school wanted me to do certain things like video and like photos, and those really took off. So then it was in the basketball season, my really close friend Jarrett Wilbur, he's on the basketball team for SUNY Poly, and they had a photographer, but they weren't really like, they didn't get the pictures, or like they were given like maybe like 4, but you're not given like a ton of pictures, like 4 from the game, in just one game in the year, that's it. So he asked me, he's like, could you come like take photos for us? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But like, it's a college, like I don't know how it works. So I'm like, can you ask like the SID in charge and like see if it's okay if I go? It's like, yeah. So guy's name is Baker, so he went to Baker and was like, my friend takes photos, can he come like take him? He's like, yeah, sure, just tell him to come see me before the game. So like I went and saw him before the game, and like I was just thought I was there taking him like of my friend and like the whole team just for fun. And he hands me this like pass, like this thing I put over, and it's like official SUNY Poly photographer for 2023, and I'm like, oh, like okay, like
That's cool.
this is cool. Like me, like I'm trying not to freak out, and I'm like so happy. So then like I take the photos, and after the game, he's like, oh, like yeah, like if you can just send me like a couple, like maybe like 3 or 4. I was like, no, like I'll like send you like 200, like 250. He's like, oh, like okay, like that'd be great. And like I was like, yeah, it'll be like a few days. So I edited them, gave them my friends, sent them to him, and all my friends loved them on the basketball team. And then Baker, he was like, these are like really good. Like, can we have you back for more stuff? So then I started doing more and more with SUNY Poly, and then all the players liked them. And then I became friends with all the players. And then now, like, I have like contracts with all these schools, and like all these players ask me to go do things. Like, it's just, and I love doing it. Like, it's just so much fun.
So is this your job?
Yes, this is my, like, now I make enough money to where like I can say it's like my full-time job.
Okay.
And I'm like very lucky that like I love what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
it just makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work a job that's fun. And so you're pretty much self-taught. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
your dad helped you out a little bit, but you learned how to be a photographer from YouTube videos. Like I know our son does a ton of research too.
Yeah.
Like it's super cool that you were able to do this self-taught.
Yeah, like it'd be weird, like during like, because JV games always come before the varsity. So like I'd play JV and he'd take pictures or whatever, and he'd stay around for varsity. But, like JV3 was there, and I'd be sitting in the stands like, yeah, the game's cool and all, but I'm like looking at my dad like, how is he like I'd want to like learn that. So then like he taught me a few things when I was like, yeah, like I want to go take photos. He's probably like, okay, like he's just gonna go like shoot a couple. He doesn't really care, like just go have fun.
Mhm.
But then he started to see that I really, really cared about it, and then he's like, all right, I'll teach you a few things. And then YouTube was a huge help, especially when I started to get into video. Like YouTube was huge. Like the first video like I really studied was Josh Graz. Like he put out one for the Downtown Classic, and I like studied that thing. And then like I went to YouTube and like watched all these videos on how to like set your camera, like how to edit, how to like film stuff properly. And I love like every aspect of it.
Let's talk about the business side of it. This equipment is not cheap.
No.
We know that. We bought Connor a camera for Christmas.
And your time, right? So one thing that you kind of glossed over is you're taking hundreds of pictures, but then to edit the best ones takes hours, right?
Yeah.
Of on the photography side. On the video side, you've got countless clips, and so now you got to mesh all those together and sync the music and you know all that.
Yeah.
So how brutal is it out of the gate, right? When you have the initial investment of money, you're putting in all this time, and you're doing this for kids who don't have a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So I guess what did that look like?
So like starting off, like it started off my senior year when my dad took photos and he wasn't doing anything. I just borrowed his camera, and he had a Nikon Z6. So I just borrowed his camera, went to a few games. Then after a while, when I started making money, I got my own, and it was a Z6 too. So it's like the upgraded. So he has a Z6, I have a Z6 too. So I could store the same thing. So I was really familiar with it still and everything. It's just a few different upgrades. But like taking photos, like it can be draining. Not like taking the photos, but editing. Like I go to a game, I shoot about 1,000 photos from the game. And then you got to go and like meticulously look through each photo, and I'll upload like about like 100, 200. And like other ones won't see the light of day, but like, and then like trying, like, I think a lot of like the work is done in editing. Like a photo, like cool, but like personally me, I take a photo and I'm like, what would I want my Instagram profile picture to be?
Yeah.
Like that's like, and everyone like now is so involved in social media. It's like, what do I want my profile picture to be? So like, I'll edit a lot of photos. Like, all right, like a single color is like my favorite. Like if it's a blue jersey and like the gym's like really yellow lighting, I'll only make the blue available so their jersey's in color and nothing else is. So like I think that's cool. But like meticulously editing a lot of photos and just going through them in general and cropping. And sometimes you got to take stuff out. Like for senior photos, like too, like portraits, like you got to like meticulously edit. Like say there's like a stool in the background. Like if you can't move it, like you got to edit that out so like it fits the background. Like rocks, like there's just like a random like piece of paper, you got to edit those out. Like just the editing is the real time consuming. And then, yeah, like charging people, like starting out, like it was my friend, so I just show up. But then, like, I started my senior year, so I just showed them and took them. But then once I graduated, they're not my friend, like, I'm not close with. They just know me. Like, I went to school with them for years, but like, they know me. So like, I started like really, like, if you just like give me like $20 and I'll just show up and like, I'll just like, I'll take a couple photos of you. Then after, like, I started to develop like a business model, like, all right, like, this is like the set price, like the base price. And then like, if you want certain things, like, I'm going to add on more and more. But like, if I go take pictures, I'm not just taking pictures with like one kid. Like, if one kid hires me, I won't just do one kid. I'll get like the whole team, and then like, I'll be like, hey, I got these photos of you. If you want more, like, let me know. And then like, a lot of times, like, oh, these are sick. Like, can you come to this? And then that's how you just build connections and make more and more money. Yeah.
So networking is so important for you. At the beginning, you were doing it for free.
Yeah.
And once your work got out there, now you're actually making money from it.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give? There are a ton of kids that this has become a popular hobby. Yeah. I really think for high school kids taking pictures. We have multiple kids that have cameras at our school. What advice would you give them?
Probably really like dive into it, because you can go to like a basketball game and there's like 7 people like taking pictures at a game. When I was in school, like there was 1 at most, but now there's like 7. And I didn't even graduate that long ago. I graduated high school in 2021.
Yeah.
So like there's so many people. So like really like, and like you want your photos to be different and stand out from others. So you really gotta like look into like the settings in your camera and like develop an editing style that like is consistent. So like when people see a photo, they're like, oh, like that's that person's photo. Like I recognize that anywhere. So like really invest your time into what you're doing.
Uniqueness too, right?
Yeah, like you want your stuff to stand out. So don't like just be like pick up a camera, be like, all right, I'll go like take it and then just send it off. Like take time with the photo and make sure that like you're really putting your all into it. Because
like you said, the editing process is probably more important than actually being behind the camera.
Yeah.
How much experimenting do you do as far as different angles, different types of shots and editing?
The angles, like I like a low angle. Like I don't like if someone's just standing up, because that's like everyone sees that view. Like if you're at like a football game, you're standing along the fence and like I'm standing up taking a photo, like you see that view. No one's crouching down against the fence looking at it. So like the angles, I like that, but like positioning is like everything. Like I've kind of developed a system where like a college basketball game, it's 20 minutes, 2 halves. So like the first 10 minutes, I'll take my 24 milliliter lens and go under the basket, and so I can shoot close up. And then the second half, I'll take my 70 to 200 and I'll go in the stands and shoot far. And like I won't go like the lower, I'll go high up in the stands and shoot down. And I learned that over time. So it just takes time and like learning what your system is. It's like you're not going to show up to your first thing and like nothing's going to go your way. Like it's not gonna, even like basketball, like you think you're going to get the coolest shot just because you're under the basket. No, the ref is running along the baseline all the time. So like you got to watch out for the ref. And like any sport, like volleyball, like you got to like watch out if you're going to get hit with the ball.
And it's funny, being in the right place at the right time has a lot to do with it too.
Sure.
Like in the end zone, like what if you're on the left side and you know the pass is thrown to the right side? Like there's no way to know ahead of time where that play is going to be.
Exactly.
It is.
And if you're like football, if you're trying to get to the other side, you got to walk around the entire field. So you got to pray to God that there's not a touchdown that you're going to miss because you're trying to get to the opposite end. But
You don't just do sports though. What else are you capturing behind the lens?
So like I said, like my sophomore year, like I really dived into it. That first year starting then, I only did sports, because sports is easy. You just show up, you take pictures. It's like you don't got to worry about anything. So then my friend was also graduating a year early. So she was like, can you take my senior pictures? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So Pinterest is my best friend, because I just look up like senior portrait poses for girls. And I literally screenshot them and I'd be like, all right, so how's this? And like sometimes it'd be awkward but funny. Like I do the pose to like really like, it's really hard to like position. Then like that's when you get more into like, then you gotta get some studio lights, and then you gotta like make sure the lighting's perfect in certain places. So like I do senior pictures now. I do like just headshots in general. I do like events like graduations, prom, like the grand marches and everything, semi-formals. I do a lot of stuff with schools. And like schools is like my main like I just like high schools I do all these events for. But yeah.
Any weddings or
Wedding,
That is a huge undertaking.
Yeah, and like it's
good
like,
money though, right?
Oh,
I'm
weddings,
sure,
wedding
yeah.
photographers make amazing money,
Yep.
but you can't mess up at a wedding. Like
Yeah. That's a
like
lot
you
of
guys,
pressure.
Well, 50% do. Oh, not photographers, but just the marriage part.
Stop it.
Second weddings is a good market right now.
But like if you're getting married and like, would you want to get this like person who's done weddings before and like knows it, or would you want to look at like a sports photographer who's just done this for like a couple years? Like, yeah, like I trust you. Like you come along, shoot our wedding. Like these sports photos look great.
Yeah.
You come along. So like weddings, like you have to start out like usually the way into weddings is like a photographer who does them. You ask or they ask you to come along and shoot with them, and then over time you learn the system of wedding and like
what's important.
Yeah, what's
where
important
do you
in a
need
shot.
to be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someday I hope to get into that, but now like I want to invest a lot of my time like senior portraits is what I'm trying to get into and like do that realm and then eventually move to weddings. But like sports will always be there.
Do you remember our wedding photographer?
Yeah, Lou Seringo.
Yep.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, he was, and I'm telling you, he was old. He was an older man, but our pictures, like you just said, they were outstanding. And it came to a point where even me, like I said, I don't want all the proofs because me being so connected to the day, I wouldn't be able to pick.
Mm-hmm.
He just made our album for us too.
Yeah, you picked the best ones.
We didn't. I couldn't sit down and pick them.
That's kind of funny.
So I just gave him control. I said,
Yeah.
I want this many photos. He put it in an album, and that was.
I feel like
wedding
my
photo.
wedding, like I'm gonna be like I'm gonna look at the edited photo and be like, well,
You're gonna
wish
be,
that
you're gonna be a lot more.
yeah. It's like I'm like, oh, that's great, but like I maybe would have done this, but yeah.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to name names, but I was talking to a local photographer who says he absolutely hates senior pictures, not so much for the kids, but the parents. So the parents drive him nuts. So I don't know if you've experienced any of that yet.
I've had one instance when it was great. Like I'll even like Braden Maltese. He's a senior at Sequoia. He asked me to do his senior pictures. I was like, great. And he's a 3-sport athlete. He does baseball, basketball, football. His parents were amazing. Like the football one, they wanted to sick one. Like they brought like these stacks of pancakes.
I brought Pinterest like things to Connor's senior photo.
Yeah, but they brought like physical pancakes. And
oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm like, so what do you want to do? They're like, so can he stand in the middle of the field, put his arms up, and we'll stand on each side of him and chuck the pancakes in the air?
That's amazing.
And I was like, sure. And I'm like, in the
Gotta
moment,
be a backstory there.
In the
I'm
moment,
guessing.
you're probably like,
in
what
the
is
moment,
this going to
I'm
be like?
What did I just sign myself up for? But then it happened. And I was like, oh, this is sick. And then
Yeah.
like, there's the parents that are like, no, like I'll take it. And I was like, it's a great shot. Or like the wind's like perfect, like blowing the hair. So I'm like, no, like I don't like that. And like sometimes the kids are like,
Yeah.
like sometimes like the kids are awkward, and then the parents like is like trying to like run everything. Like, but it can be difficult. But
Yeah.
like I like doing them.
What about developing? So you just give the picture they develop, or do you do any of the developing?
Like printing or
Yeah.
what? So my website, www.ggsphotos.com, is on a platform called SmugMug, where basically you can order prints off that, and like they like SmugMug, the company, they develop the prints, then they send it off to you, or you can do a digital download.
Because that's important. If you just bring like proofs to Walmart and have them printed, you're not getting good quality.
Yeah, like this, like SmugMug is a dedicated photography business that like will develop all the photos for you. And like the way I run mine, like high school, like I'll put them up with a watermark, so that way, like, and it's $5 a photo. It's not like you're paying like $30 for one photo. Like it's $5 a photo. So like anyone, like if you just want one, like if you're a player and you want it, like it's just $5. So like so like it's affordable for everyone. But like you can order prints of that, or you can get the digital download. In high school, I put the watermark up. So like, because business, like mainly like high school, I look at my audience as, all right, parents want photos of their kids playing in high school, and the athletes want them too. That's great. So they can buy them. Like you don't see as much of that in college. College is more like the player wants that photo. So college, like I still get like, I charge to go to places, but college, there's no watermark on the photo. It's
You just give them the
it's
photos.
more for like to get my name out there, and for advertising. It's like, all right, it's on watermarked. You can just take it and have fun.
What about the senior banners are super popular, right?
Yeah,
So,
like the printing.
So
yeah.
now a lot of these kids, our school's doing it. They do what they call media day. The kids love it.
Media days are my favorite.
So you're doing those. Are you printing the banners or just outsourcing that?
So for high schools, I mainly do it for Notre Dame for that, and they don't do the banners. They do like pictures, like they do frame pictures. So like, and that's graphics, and I love graphic design. So like, I'll make a cool graphic and I'll give it to them, and then I'll frame it. And sometimes like they get like a matted frame,
Mhm.
and on that border they'll have all the players write something, and then they'll give it to them. But like media days, it's like sick because you have the backdrop, and then I
Yep.
set up the lights, and that's really how you get to know the players. Like for SUNY Poly, that's how I got to know a lot of them. I do the media days, and then they become more comfortable with you on the media day because they're doing like all these like funny, like outrageous like poses for fun.
Yeah.
And then you get to the game, and they're like, "Oh, that kid did my media day."
Yeah.
So like I know who he is. So like then they'll like play up to the camera. They'll do some like funny poses, and like it's just great content. So it's like
Yeah.
like you get good media day photos, I get great content. So like
Yeah.
We will do this again at the end, but for athletes, for parents, for schools that want to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
the best way is going to my website,
Yeah, right, the website.
www.ggsphotos.com. I have everything on there. I have my Instagram link. There's a contact section where you can email me. You can find all the photos, videos, graphics I've ever made.
One thing
So, yeah.
we noticed with our son, the athletes look for him during the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do you find that too? Like, I mean, after they score, if they do something, they're trying to get in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, especially in,
Oh,
like,
the celebrations are
in
fantastic.
football, it's amazing. Like you're at that end zone, like they'll score a touchdown, you just see their head like looking around, then they'll look for you, they'll point, and then
Yeah.
like the whole team will come over, then you get the team photo.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, and like it's a good feeling. Like they get in the end zone, their first thought is, "Where's the photographer?"
Yeah.
Like their
And-
first thought is looking for you.
It's amazing because a lot of kids, this is the only time they'll get to play a sport and
Yeah.
feel like a professional doing it. Because a lot of kids don't go on in college to play. So for parents listening or anybody, like, take this opportunity to capture those moments because you're going to wish you had them. Like Scott talks about football all the time. Like, yeah, they relive
30 years
glory
later.
days. Like, it's hysterical. And if you could have those print photos,
My black and white pictures.
it's just, we have one displayed along with the cleats and the football.
It's like
I'm
right when
just-
you walk in the house, it's just right
no,
there.
no,
Well,
it's
I
not.
got married, Gary, and some things are gonna change in your life when you get married.
But I'm just saying, like, do it. Just book them and do it. So how much do you charge?
So like basically like for a player, my base start is like $50.
Oh
Because
my
like
God, that's awesome.
like I want it to be like I don't want like a lot of people charge like a ton.
I
of
know
money.
they do.
So like if it's like like I just want like then it also depends on the sport. So like for track and basketball instance, you could be the starting point guard for a basketball team and play the entire game, or you could do track and do like shot put where it's like you're there for like 20 minutes doing something and then call it a day.
Right.
So like the baseline's like 50, and that's basically to go, and then like
It's like gas money.
yeah, gas money, and then like editing. Like I don't mind editing. I love it. So it's not like like if I didn't like it, I'd up the price.
You would have to charge people to edit, but you
Yeah.
don't charge them to edit the photos.
Right. And so like
That's awesome, Gary.
and basically like that's how I look at it. Like you could be a starting point guard, like 30 points a game, great, or do shot put. So like 50 is just the baseline, and then like if you want like the team to do it, it's not like I charge like all right $50. Like if you have
Per person,
yeah,
you
if
would
have,
give a
like-
discount.
Yeah, you got 15 people on the team, you're $50 each. Like and then team, I start at 175.
That's great.
And like I just love I love sports. Like played basketball and cross country my whole life. My two main sports. I just love sports and I love watching it. So it's fun to me.
All right. So what's next? What's the long-term vision? Dream circle stuff. Like, what would ideally be your future in this?
So ideally, I'd like to work with like a real professional sports team. Like I love football. Like Denver Broncos are my favorite team.
Hmm.
So like I'd love to work for them. I also love professional wrestling. So like if I could be like a photographer, I really want to be a photographer, and I'm getting more and more into video because that's kind of where like everything's targeting now. Like 10 years ago, like you weren't really seeing like mixtapes of anything.
Yep.
But like for me, video, I like cinematic videos. But like photos 10 years ago was kind of like you'd see photographers, not videographers. So
Mhm.
now you see more videographers than photographers. So I'm trying to get into both of those. So like I basically have a better looking resume. So basically, if I could work with like a huge sports organization as like their lead photographer or professional wrestling. Like right now, SUNY Poly is like where I put most of my time to. Like their athletic department, that's most of my time. Then I have contracts with like Notre Dame. I have a contract with, and that's not just sports. That's with all events like their Spirit Weeks, their Catholic Schools Week,
Prom.
yeah, Grand March of Prom, graduation, like all these different events. So yeah.
Awesome. We got 7 rapids. We might as
Wow.
well, those will probably go a little bit longer. So
Okay.
might as well start them.
Okay, if you could photograph any sports event in history, which one would it be?
This is not a good rapid fire question.
I'm not claiming these to be rapid fire.
That's a
Probably-
good question, though.
the NBA Finals in 2016 when the Cavs won, when it was Golden State and Cavs in Game 7, when Kyrie hit the 3 and then blocked by James, just because I was a huge Cavs fan at that point, and that moment I loved.
Awesome. What's one thing you wish you knew that you wish more people knew about photography?
Probably the amount of time that it takes to edit, because people will text you right after the game like, oh, like, when can I have the photos? When like, no, they take time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too with pricing. Everyone's just like, oh, take some pictures for me, like no big deal. Like it's me as a dad with my cell phone, like yeah, no big deal.
It's
Take
not like
some
you
pictures.
show up, take one photo, like here you go.
Yeah,
like it takes time.
I'm sure the amount of time start to finish and effort and the cost, like we talked about earlier, to get up and running.
Okay, this is a great question. Best local spot in Utica or Little Falls area for a photo shoot? Like, let's say you're going to do senior pictures and somebody just comes to you and says, what's a great spot to go to?
Canal Place in Little Falls.
He was just there yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
I love, like, Little Falls, I know nobody. Because I lived in Little Falls, but all my friends are in Utica, and everything I've ever done is in Utica. So, like Little Falls is, like, my little, like, quiet place. And, like, Canal Place is even quieter.
Yeah.
So, like, and it's beautiful. You got the bridge over the canal, and then, like, across you have a park with all the, and then you got, like, houses across and just all these trees. You have, like, Moss Island right down, like, a pathway. It's so beautiful.
Main Street.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, it's quiet until you try to do some video there, like we did over the summer for the book promo. And every garbage, we must have done our garbage night. Every garbage truck in Little Falls went down that street when we were trying to record video. So if you weren't doing photography, what would you be doing?
I'd probably be graphic design, because I went to Poly for communications and information design and a minor in marketing. So really for graphic design, so I'd probably be working in a graphic design
I don't know how much money is in this, but one thing from a graphic design standpoint that I think is awesome, and I know other people do too, is if you go to Gary's website, GGS Photos, you've got like the 1,000th point, or you know the certain moments in that player's career, and you make, pardon me if I'm wrong, but a graphic, right?
Yeah.
A picture, but is that what it's called?
Yeah, like a graphic, yeah. What's cool is like that's printed out and handed to the player.
Yeah, it's like a poster,
Yeah.
you know, and it looks amazing. And, you know, again, I don't know how much money's in that, but those are really cool.
Yeah, I got so lucky because graphic design and photography are two of like the hardest, like you got to be like very lucky to make money. So like thankfully, like, and I have a minor in marketing, so like all three go well together. So like I think I'm like well versed in it. So I think that helps. But yeah,
For sure.
Most chaotic sports game you've ever shot, or moment that was just crazy?
probably SUNY Poly in Utica in the Empire 8 Championship, because that, like, it was just the most insane. I feel bad I'm talking to these rapid fire questions, but like it was just
good.
The atmosphere was insane, and like that's the most like FOMO I've ever experienced in my life, because all my friends are in the stands in the student section. My friends are on the court, and I'm taking photos. But like SUNY Poly walked out, and I think there was more SUNY Poly kids there than Utica, and it was equally loud. And SUNY Poly walked out, you hear cheers, and then Utica, you just hear enormous boos. Utica walks out, you hear the same exact reaction.
Yeah.
Like me and Jarrett, the guy who got me started, we were just standing on the sideline in warm-ups, and we're like, can you believe this is like happening?
Yeah.
And it was just the
Intense.
most crazy atmosphere I've ever been a part of.
Awesome. All right, here's a quick one for you. Utica pizza or chicken riggies?
Utica pizza.
We got a spot.
Well, Pizza Boys.
Okay.
Then that's technically New York Mills,
Yeah.
I think. But if I had to pick Utica pizza,
That doesn't. No,
you can't go wrong with those Eats.
we would have given you New York Mills.
Okay.
As
Yeah.
Pizza Boys, they used to have a location in Little Falls and then they closed, right?
Yeah, they
They
did.
did.
But it still says Pizza Boys.
It
there's like,
does.
it still says Pizza Boys on it, but there's no Pizza Boys.
I know.
I've been in there once, and I don't know if I
I got
remember
pizza
it.
there once before
There
they
you go.
closed. All right, describe Central New York in 3 words.
Is it bad? The first word that came to mind is green, because
Yeah.
like it's
No.
snow. Like I'd say green just because like the mountains and all the trees. So
Sure.
I'd say green, lively, and food.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I had to pick 3.
I do want to circle back around because I want to
Yeah.
pick your brain on something that I made a note of and then forgot. AI, right? So obviously this is where the world's going. It just keeps advancing and advancing. And the question, and I was with Dave Casulo in Little Falls last night, and, you know, older gentlemen that we are, we're like, you know, you got to skate to where the puck's going. And how much of what's happening today is just going to be replaced because it'll be cheaper and better with AI. And then what can we do to stay relevant. So how much do you think AI will play a hand in the things that you're doing today?
AI scares me because, like, in whole, as a person, I don't like social media. I think it's more negatives than positives.
Mm-hmm.
But in the field that I'm in, you have to utilize social media. So, like, for AI, I think it's gonna make people's lives easier, but then to a point where, like, it's too easy to where we don't have to do anything as photographer. Like editing, like you can sync the music up to the video in some programs. So if you sync the music up, you don't have to really do anything. So like in that, but like editing, like it's a godsend because like they have like AI generate where like if you just highlights, like if you want a bench out, you just highlight the bench and it's gone. So instead of doing it by hand, it's just so much easier.
So parts of it make your job easier, but the other parts of it, you're like, it takes the authenticity away?
Yeah, because
or the fun of editing?
The fun of editing, yes, I'd say, because sometimes it's like, it's kind of like a drug, like it's right there. Like I don't want to use it, but it's right there. Like I kind of have to. But like I just love, like I don't like using AI, but like if I have to, I will. So like I just like the raw photo. And like I don't like editing mine too much. I'm sort of like getting into a point where I'm editing them a lot more. But like I don't like editing because I want it to look like it's unedited. And sometimes like I'll show people the edited, and they're like, "Oh, is that the original?" And then like I'll hit a button and it'll show the original, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And like that's a cool. Like I don't want like AI like that. AI can take away from that.
Yep.
Yeah. Gary Grabinski, GGS Photos. Appreciate you coming in, my friend.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks.